Hello guys, welcome back for the April JRPG news roundup. We start with the Falcom news as always. On the merch side of things, Rin and Crow got some love this month in Japan. I'm not sure why, but they got specific fragrances via Curtain Damashi at 6,600 yen each, and I quote, "The scents are aimed to present the inner turmoil of Rin and the friendly but dark secretive nature of Crow." Their words. Tapioca kept it more casual. They have plushies releasing in late August for 3,000 yen each. The official Falcom shop also has the likes of the Emma figure and this Altina minifigure with Personalised to order directly from their website. 2D developer news now, and Trails into Reverie received a patch this month to update various texts and improve on the current localization. There are also features like a rebalancing of the voice lines and improving support for the platform so that it synergizes with certain features specific to Steam. As for the newest Trails release, Kondo will be appearing as a guest of honor at Anime Expo 2024. This is par for the course. Kondo often does this to promote the Western releases, and I'm certain he's going for East 10 Nordics too. The Northern War mobile title will be releasing on May the 29th worldwide. I won't be playing it, but as expected, it's replaced the recently closed down Akatsuki no Kiseki. Now this next story doesn't necessarily refer to Falcom, but it is somewhat related to them and the games. There's been suggestions from a source at RPG site this month that Nippon Ichi Software Japan, the Japanese branch of NIS, have been performing poorly. And to be honest, this has been the case for a fair few years now. In particular, it points to some of their exclusive releases for Japan like Zycatrice and Barstellar Abyss completely failing commercially. And there's just been too many releases like those that have put NISJ into the mud. As a result, NIS America, which has been doing far better, are having to make up for those losses to compensate. Whether that will have some sort of effect in the future for Trails and East games and how they come west remains to be seen, but at present, NISJ needs a hit and fast. The last bit of Falcom news will concern Kai no Kiseki, so jump ahead if you'd rather not know. We got our first glimpse of information regarding the newest Japanese release in Kai no Kiseki, like the updated sprites for Van and Agnes. There's also been a little shown off of the combat, which unsurprisingly will be using the same hybrid approach, but is also bringing in a couple of additions to set itself apart from its predecessors, like the Awakening for Van on the field mode, and the so-called Blitz system, which is going to be incorporated into the command mode. To the general JRPG news, now we're starting with merch. Volume 3 of the .hack game artworks has been announced for May 2024 at 4,200 yen. Pre-order bonuses in Japan are now live for Furyu's newest released Rain artist. It's the typical fare and a lot of tapestries and acrylic stands, often with exclusive art to incentivize you to buy from a specific retailer. Square only have the one item of interest this month, a near reincarnation art book releasing in August this year for 49.50 yen, which coincides with the service shutting down this month on the 29th. And rounding out the merch is Atlus. Persona 3 Reload soundtrack is now available on streaming services with around 62 songs, and the soundtrack for SMT5 Vengeance will be releasing on June the 14th for 4,000 yen. 2D developer news now, and we're starting with Atlus for a change. The expansion pass for Persona 3 Reload has left players disappointed to say the least, with the first two waves featuring music and cosmetics for the most part, nothing of substance there. It's only on Wave 3 that the final wave, Episode Aegis, The Answer, will be released come September. To get that content though, you need to buy the full pass at $35, so a lot of fluff on top of what people are actually looking to pay for. A strange move when other DLC content was made available separately. Doesn't take away from the base game though, people still love that. Talking about love, Metaphor ReFantasio is up next, which got a 25-minute gameplay showcase this month, with pre-orders now open as well. While the gameplay and overall feel of the game was just reaffirmed, there were 2 points within the showcase that caught my eye personally. First of all, travelling is not instantaneous, instead you stay in the vehicle, the Gauntlet Runner, till you get to the destination. While waiting, you can converse with allies, cook or sleep to pass the time. And the other really neat idea relates to the music. Apparently the OST is transmitted directly to the mind of the protag via his fairy companion Gallica. So while we're getting hype tunes, the pro tag is getting the same thing. I think that's a really neat idea, and I hope that that is given some substance in game. Onto Shin Megami Tensei now, and character designer Kazuma Kaneko has left Atlus after 35 years of service, citing that he is currently working on an original title. And lastly, SMT5 Vengeance, and more information was given on what the definitive version of this game will present. According to various developers on the team, like producer Shinjiro Takata, Vengeance will represent the full vision of the game, with the Vengeance route presenting a completely new take on the story of SMT5, and it diverts at around the midpoint of the game. This represents around 70 hours of new content apparently, and there are going to be around 20 new battle themes alone, which is crazy to think of. A lot of JRPGs have like 5, so a re-release getting 20 in addition to what we already have is mad. Vanillaware are up next, and they've stated that their newest release, Unicorn Overlord, has sold 500,000 units worldwide this month. The game has also received a recent patch to update the UI for player convenience and also introduces more replayable stages. Similarly, Studio Sai have announced that Eternights has hit the 150,000 units sold milestone, pretty good for a niche indie title. Ryu Gakutoku Studios are currently holding auditions for the next Like a Dragon entry. This was made clear by Masayoshi Yokoyama on Ryu Gakutoku Studio TV. No further information was given as of yet though. 505 Games have stated that a sequel to Eiyuden Chronicle 100 Heroes is planned. Now, I'm playing the game at present. It's not perfect, especially in regards to its UI and technical capabilities, though various patches have come out since, but I'm having a great time regardless. The localization issues I've paid no mind to, though I'll keep those thoughts brief for the time being, as I'll go into more detail in my RPGs I've played video come August. In short, I welcome a sequel and hope the first one does well. Shift Up Games have stated that they are currently laying out plans for a new urban sci-fi action RPG following the release of Stellar Blade, which in itself has garnered a wide array of attention. In particular, the developer stated that all versions would be uncensored shortly before release. However, a day one patch for the game erased some graffiti on the wall that said Hard R, and also lowered the exposure of a certain costume, with Shift Up saying that this was the intended final design all along. Now, I'm not sure about that statement. If it was the final design, why wasn't it put in before the game released? Irrespective, something like this would never be enough for me to not play the game because it looks damn good, and that's all I care about. However, I do sympathise with the fact that a bait and switch has occurred here. Players were told one thing and the contrary happened immediately after. It may seem small, but I believe in that saying, if you give an inch, they will take a mile. It starts small and then it keeps ballooning, so I get the frustration on this one. Last up is Square. Octopath Traveler was taken off the Switch eShop about a month ago and has now been put back up. The only real difference seems to be that the publisher changed from Nintendo to Square. Square have also appointed 2 new executive officers, those being Naoki Hamaguchi, director of Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, and Tomoya Asano, head of Team Asano. Akitoshi Kawazu though, creator of the Saga series, has stated that we won't be disappointed if we wait for a Saga 2 remaster, and to please wait a little bit longer. I have a feeling that a remaster will be dependent on the success of Emerald Beyond, but that suggests that something is in the pipeline at least. Dragon Quest executive producer Yumi Ake has stepped down from the department and has apparently moved to the smartphone team. This apparently has occurred because of delays in the next mainline entry and in line with the restructuring plans that Square announced in their New Year report. That being the desire to focus less on external developments and more on AAA in-house titles. He will apparently be replaced by Nier's Yosuke Saito. Talking about Nier, Yoko Taro has chimed in with his opinions on Stellar Blade, stating that it is much better than Nier Automata, especially in regards to overall design and graphics. Understandably on the graphics side at least. Now, he isn't throwing shade. Yoko Taro often does this. He's quite a modest guy and often considers his own games to be mid, so this statement doesn't surprise me at all. Next up is Kingdom Hearts 4, and an insider has claimed that the game will release in 2025. This came through someone called Daniel Richtman, who shared this on his Patreon, so not sure if that's substantiated at all, but the claim was made. Now, an interesting note came out regarding the finances of Square this month. According to a report submitted to the Japanese Financial Accounting Standards Foundation, or FASF, the company is set to report a loss of 22.1 billion yen, translated to around $140 million, due to content abandonment for HD games, which are the titles that Square note as HD console and PC releases, not mobile games. This is in light of the company's revised strategy to focus more on those AAA releases, in-house development, and diverting resources away from mid-budget titles. Now, some people are worried that this abandonment could include the likes of Dragon Quest XII or the DQ3 HD remake, but I doubt it. The company is simply doubling down on their bigger franchises, and there's no doubt that Dragon Quest is one such IP. If it does turn out that either of the Dragon Quest projects have been abandoned, that will be a massive shock. And upon further inspection, these losses might not even be related to the cancellation of projects. Those with accounting backgrounds point to the fact that this report is in regards to extraordinary losses, which is something outside of the normal course of business. Abandoning games development mid-process is fairly common. Instead, some are suggesting that a portion of the loss may be attributed to projects like the Luminous engine, which at one point was considered the future of Square's game development. In truth, it's only been used for a select number of games like Forspoken and Final Fantasy XV, and as such, there's suggestions that it was just a massive money sink, and Square may have just pulled the plug completely during the restructuring. It's purely conjecture though, and it all comes down to what Square actually consider to be an extraordinary loss. We end the developer updates this month with Final Fantasy. Square reportedly want the final part of the Final Fantasy VII Remake trilogy out within 3 years' time, at least according to translated excerpts from the Ultimania book. As for Rebirth, it's apparently underperforming according to an industry analyst, selling about half what the first game did in a similar time frame. Now, that could be down to a variety of reasons. New players might not have been taken in with the first game, so skipped out on the sequel. Some players may not have played the first game, so they can't jump in here. But there's also other factors to consider too. The first game came out during the height of COVID, when people had more time on their hands, and the user base of the PS4, nearing its end at that point, was far greater than the current PS5 user base, which is about halfway through its life cycle supposedly. I expect when Rebirth gets a PC release, that might help it out a bit more. Finally, Yoshi P has noted in an interview for Final Fantasy XVI Rising Tide that it might be time for a new Final Fantasy Tactics amid the current ongoing rumours. We end this month's news roundup with the upcoming releases, briefly touching on visual novels first. Horror visual novel Xanatorium has released for all modern platforms this month. Otome VN 9 RIP is coming west in 2024 for Nintendo Switch. Ginka, which is already on PC, is coming to Switch on September the 19th. And Mages, alongside Spike Chunsoft, are bringing the two quintessential quintuplet games west at a yet unspecified date. Onto the RPG side, we'll start with some Japan-specific ones first, as there is a chance a few might come west in the future. Spin-off motorcycle action RPG Neptunia vs Titan Dogu is releasing on June the 28th for PS4, PS5 and Nintendo Switch. SRPG Disgaea 7 Complete releases on July the 25th for PS4, PS5 and Nintendo Switch. Turn-based action hybrid RPG Kuro no Kiseki 2 Crimson Sin is coming to Switch on July the 25th. It's already available on PS4, PS5 and PC. Action RPG Persona 3 Aegis, the first mission, is releasing for PC and Nintendo Switch on an unspecified date. Party-themed turn-based RPG Dokapon Sword of Fury is releasing on August the 1st for Switch. And dungeon RPG Death End Request Code Z, formerly Code Zion, is releasing on September the 19th for PS4, PS5 and Nintendo Switch. As for the worldwide releases, a comedy RPG, Athenian Rhapsody, will be releasing for all modern platforms on May the 14th. Dungeon RPG Mushoku Tensei Quest of Memories releases on June the 20th for PS4, PS5, Nintendo Switch and PC. Action RPG Dragon Slayer 4 Drassel Family is now available on Nintendo Switch. Roguelite RPG Yasha Legends of the Demon Blade is releasing in 2024 for all modern platforms. Turn-based RPG Tenshi no Uta Collection has been announced with no specific release date for Nintendo Switch. A crowdfunding campaign is planned. Turn-based RPG One Piece Odyssey Deluxe is releasing on July the 26th for Nintendo Switch. Dungeon RPG Class of Heroes Complete Edition has released this month for PS5, Switch and PC. SRPG Front Mission 2 Remake has released this month for PS4, PS5, Xbox One, Xbox Series and PC. Mecha Action RPG Megaton Musashi W Wired has released this month for PS4, PS5, Nintendo Switch and PC. Open World Action RPG Galax New Horizons has been announced with no specified release date for PS5 and PC. Turn-based RPG Runa, a game inspired by modern and classic RPGs with a sci-fi world and social sim aspect, has currently set up a Kickstarter seeking €45,000. It has already met that target as of the time of recording by over 4 times the requested amount with 2 weeks remaining. Turn-based RPG Hyperdimension Neptunia Rebirth Trilogy will release May the 21st for Nintendo Switch. And lastly, turn-based action hybrid Metaphor ReFantasio will release October the 11th for PS4, PS5, Xbox Series and PC. Thank you for watching this video. If you liked it, please like and subscribe for more JRPG content and consider joining my Patreon if you're interested. Peace.